for St. James. She is the newly sighted Pamela Hughes. He's Rob Hunter. And here are the stories everyone's talking about. We call it the playlist.
Track 1.
Well, former Penn State coach Joe Paterno has passed away. Coach Paterno coached the Nittany Lions for 46 years before getting fired just a couple of months ago. His reputation was tarnished by the sexual abuse investigation/scandal. Coach Paterno was diagnosed with lung cancer soon after being fired from his head coaching position. He was 85 years old and coached Penn State to 2 national championships.
I'm like so many on this right now, somewhere in the middle. Joe Pa was human, and you can't ignore the amazing accomplishments he had at Penn State University through that 46 years. But again, he's human, and you cannot forget that slip-up that he made with Sandusky. So, in the middle on this.
I refer to the quote from the ever-famous movie Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Okay.
Happy endings are stories in the middle.
The stories in the middle.
We just got the entire story with Joe Paterno, and it just doesn't end well all the time.
Track 2.
All right, guys, remember the Fukushima Daiichi nuke plant in Japan? We heard so much about this after the tsunami.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a while, but the government managed to keep a secret of a worst-case scenario report there.
Really?
Yeah, they predicted a massive release of radioactive material. And people living within 105 miles of the plant would have to evacuate, and voluntary evacuations would have included Tokyo, but there wouldn't have been enough time to actually evacuate everyone, so they just didn't release the information because they didn't want to spur anxiety. In fact, one government official said the info was so shocking they decided to treat it like it didn't exist.
Well, it's probably smart, and it's just lucky that that just didn't happen. Anytime you have a worst-case scenario in any type of situation, you have to realize, too, that there's nothing anyone can do to save everybody. It's just one of those realities we don't want to deal with.
You could play the what-if, worst-case scenario all day long. I bet you if they'd have issued the evacuation, more people would have been hurt or harmed or possibly even died from the panic surrounding the evacuation than could have been hurt by the actual cause. You have to be very careful with these things.
Track 3.
Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords has decided to step down from office. She made her intentions known yesterday in a YouTube video. In it, she said she's going to take time to focus on her recovery, and she wants to do what's best for the people of Arizona, the people she represents. Of course, we remember that Giffords was shot in the head at close range just over a year ago. In the online video, she did say she will return and will be stronger.
I commend Congresswoman Giffords and her husband and her family for doing what is right for them, and also acknowledging that the people of the Tucson, Southern Arizona deserve to have someone represent them in Congress.
Listen, this could not have been an easy decision for her or her family. Probably one of the toughest she's ever had to make. But she has to take this step backwards in order to move forward. And I believe her, Rob, when she says, I will be back.
Track 4.
South Carolina has shaken up the GOP race. Newt won on Saturday. That's right, and he's leading in some polls in Florida. So, of course, that means Mitt Romney is on the attack. Mitt Romney's now the underdog, just in case you're keeping score. Today in Florida, Mitt called out Newt as a failed leader as Speaker of the House. Even New Jersey Governor Chris Christie said Gingrich is an embarrassment to the GOP. An embarrassment, I tell you.
Yeah, I need somebody to explain this to me.
Yeah.
How does somebody whose ex-wife comes out and says that they wanted an open marriage, run on family values because he's a conservative, and meanwhile, he left because of ethics complaints? How does he win South Carolina and then become a front runner in the nomination process?
I think it's just simple because Mitt's boring.
Yeah.
There's nothing that exciting about Mitt, but he's a good candidate. I'm not going to vote for Mitt, but there's nothing inherently wrong with him, and that's apparently not good enough for the GOP. That's the part that scares me about Republicans voting so far.
Track 5.
All right, so the State of the Union is coming up.
Tomorrow
I know.
night.
Yeah, contain the excitement, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, what?
Yeah, Congress, though, they're going to try to show a little solidarity. Yeah, they're going to do this by sitting next to a member of the opposite party tomorrow when the president addresses the nation. Can you feel the love?
So cute. I just... How ridiculous does Congress think we are in the fact that we're going to watch the State of the Union and see, I don't know, John Kerry sitting next to John McCain and go, oh, look at that's just so cute. That's going to solve all the... Get out of here. This is a joke.
Listen, I know it's fun. It's easy to make fun of this. Not everybody's doing it. They call it date night where they're going back and forth across the aisles. But I think it's a step in the right direction from this us versus them, which is unfortunately what Congress has become. We need to stop that attitude, if you will.
So now we'll have one, instead of half the section standing up to cheer Obama, it'll be one every other person.
Every other one. I feel more comfortable with that.
Track 6.
Super Bowl 46 is set.
Yeah.
And it's a rematch of the 2008 Super Bowl. The New England Patriots versus the New York Giants. Of course, in 2008, it was Eli with the luckiest plays ever. Whereas Brett Rogers, our sales manager, a huge Giants fan.
Yeah.
But I'm going to be nervous for the next 2 weeks. Don't like this matchup.
Really?
Don't like the New England Patriots playing the Giants. It scares me. And I don't want Eli to get his second ring. Come on.
New York versus Boston
Yeah.
all over again, isn't it? I mean, that's all it comes down to, for goodness sakes. I don't know. I think the better teams won, although that San Francisco game could have gone either way.
Yeah, you know what? I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl. I didn't watch the game last night, but I did hear my husband cursing and screaming in the other room. So I knew it was exciting that I walked in and I saw it was an OT. I'm like, all right, I'll plop down for a few minutes.
Yeah. That is the playlist. We do it at 9:30, 10:30, and 11:30. Get you caught up on the stories that people are talking about. Thanks for joining us for this hour's version of The Playlist.